Hello, let's continue our Sudoku adventure with One Person's Adventure by rockratzero. So we have normal Sudoku rules, so in every row, every column, and every 2x3 box, we're going to be placing the digits 1 to 6 exactly once each. This is also a Hitori hybrid, so let's go over the Hitori rules. So we're going to be shading cells in the grid, so I'm going to use gray to denote a shaded cell, that's a traditional color, and green for a cell that must be unshaded. So white is uncertain, gray is shaded, green is unshaded, and by the end, we're going to have every cell either gray or green. All right, so how are we shading them? Well, shaded cells can't be horizontally or vertically adjacent. Another way to put that is orthogonally adjacent, if you know that word. So if I shade this cell, then I'm not allowed to shade this cell because they are vertically adjacent. And I'm not allowed to shade this cell, this cell, this cell, this cell. So what we can do is as soon as we place a shaded cell, we can green these 4 cells around it to denote that those are definitely unshaded. I am allowed to shade this cell though, because sharing a corner is fine. It's just we can't share an edge. All right, so that's that rule, rule number 1. Rule number 2, a row or column may not contain 2 unshaded cells with identical corner numbers. So for example, here in this row, we've got 4 cells that are denoted with 4. So this is, if these were all unshaded, that would be broken. In fact, we have to shade 2 of these. So I could shade this one and this one here, and that would be fine, right? I only have 1 unshaded 4 in this row. All right. All unshaded cells in the grid form an orthogonally connected area. So the green cells, the unshaded one, are going to form an orthogonally connected area. So what does that mean? It means we're going to have some kind of area within this grid marked green, and every single green cell will have an orthogonal path to connect to every other green cell. So what we can't do is do something like this, where this is all blocked off. Obviously we break other rules by doing that, but having this island here is bad because it even though it's diagonally connected, it has to be orthogonally connected to all the other green cells. So this needs to get out somehow. We need to give it a route out between the shadeds so that it can be connected. All right, so those are the rules. Those are not all the rules. There's also the corner digits in unshaded cells are the digit in the solved Sudoku. So in this example where we said these 2 ended up shaded and this ended up unshaded, in the Sudoku, we can then fill a 4 into this cell. Once we know for sure that this is unshaded, we can fill a 4 into it. Alrighty, so those are the rules. Definitely give the puzzle a try yourself. There's a link in the description. And I'm going to get started right now. All right. So actually, the example I gave is pretty interesting because we do know that 2 out of these 3 need to be shaded, at least. And in order to do that, I can't shade these 2 because that would be 2 shaded cells that are orthogonally connected. So we know that only one of these is going to end up shaded. So this one also needs to be shaded because it's not allowed to repeat as a 4 unshaded cell, unshaded cell, because we can't shade these both. So there is actually going to be a 4 in one of these, and one of these will be shaded and one will be unshaded. Let's make all of these green. So that 2 there, that's now definitely unshaded. That means we definitely shade this one. So those are all green. This 6 means these are definitely shaded. Oh, sorry. Definitely shaded because we don't want the more than 1 6 in that column. So these definitely unshaded ones, we can actually fill Sudoku digits. And then these cells all around here, oh, sorry, I'm doing the wrong ones. These cells here can be green because they're next to a shaded cell. One of these 2 is definitely shaded. Okay, let's look at this green cell. This green cell needs to connect to all the other ones. So this needs to be green. That's a 3. And then we have to keep going. That has to connect up. And then this whole group here that I'm highlighting here, that needs to get out. So that's going to connect up to here. So that's going to be a 1. We can't repeat the 1 in the column, so that's going to be shaded. So that's unshaded, and it's a 4. Okay. Now we're in no danger. Well, this one's going to have to get out, actually. So let's green that one. That's a 5. This is going to be shaded. All right. This is a 6. We know that. Okay, so this one, if it ended... Oh, yeah, this one here, we're not allowed to repeat in the column, right? So that's got to be shaded. These are unshaded. That's a 1. That means this needs to be shaded because we can't have that being a 1. Rather, because of the Hitori rule. So these are green to surround it. That made this one the 4 and this one shaded, so we finally know which one ended up 4. And this one now, it needs to be surrounded with greens. So now that's a 3. This is shaded, which means that's green and that's a 2. Okay, connectivity. So all of this stuff is one blob right now, and it's got to connect up to everything else. And the only way it does that is getting green from here. If I were to shade this 5, then this entire blob here would be disconnected from the rest of the grid. So this 5 here is green, which means that's a 5. One of these needs to be shaded for sure. Oh, and this 5 that we just made tells us exactly how that works. And yeah, we're done with the shading. And so now we do a Sudoku. I have to basically ignore the shading and just do the Sudoku at this point. Okay, so what am I missing? The 4 needs to go here because of this 4. And then this is going to be 5, 6, and we know the order. Oops. This just finishes the row with 5. This is going to be 3 and 6, and we know the order because of that 6. This is going to be a 2 and a 4. We don't know the order, so we get pencil marks. This is going to be a 2 and a 3. Again, pencil marks. So because of the 2-3 pair, now we know what this is, and that's going to give us 6. So this is going to be 1, 6. We know the order. And then this is going to be a 4. So now we got the 2 and the 4. Nice. This is going to be a 1 and a 3. So that's 1 and 3 like that, so that 3. This is done. That's a 5. These two are going to be a 1 and a 4. We know the order because of this 1, 4 here. Looks like we're finishing up. So for the box, we do need a 2. The 2 is going to be in one of these two. We need a 3. The 3 is going to be in one of these two. We have a 4. We need a 5. Okay, so we get 5 and 2. That gives 3 and 2 and 3. And this is a 6. And we have the correct solution. Very nice. Well, thank you, Rockrat. I think that was a good demonstration. Not too difficult. But you did have to use the, you had to use the rules. So you had to think about, I somehow targeted the break-in by accident in my explanation. So maybe that made it easier for you. I apologize if it did. But, I'm sure you would have spotted something. There was probably other break-ins, to be honest. But once I got going, yeah, it just was like, these have to be shaded, and then we have to put green around them, and then the greens have to connect. And the connectivity is the part that I find the most fun. So that was cool. And then I like how you integrated that with the Sudoku. You basically could finish the shading completely before doing any of the Sudoku. So it might be interesting to intermix them a bit more. So you have to do some Sudoku before you can continue. But either way, it was enjoyable, a nice introduction, good for this series. And of course, if you enjoyed this puzzle, then why not give it a like, subscribe, and a kind comment below.